So welcome to Squirrel Trails. I'm David.
And I'm Al.
Today is our Tuesday video on our longer discussion and much more of a debate discussion.
Was it really a debate if you're wrong?
Only if I'm right. On Monday's video about information, grid stuff.
We kind of talked tangentially on Monday's video.
Yes.
So those of you that watched Monday's, if you haven't watched Monday's video, please go back and watch that because you will now understand why we call this channel Squirrel Trails.
The link will be above. Where do we begin?
So we actually talked about, short background, we had 3 articles that we kind of threw out. After a rambling discussion of the fact that David reads privacy statements in terms of service for fun, which is where this is going to comes into play. We talked about Facebook's cryptocurrency, an article that I found on the Register, where really they were taking the point that you should not trust Facebook because Facebook wants to use this data because is bringing this currency because they want to know more about you and be able to sell more and better data about you. Second article we had was then a takeoff off of that natural offshoot actually, but it was done out of a local newspaper here out of the Star Tribune that was how do you get off of the grid essentially, and examples of people that are trying to not be on Google anymore.
Or not be on Google, but not give their information to Google.
Right, so actually in many cases, just not use the services at all.
Well, that's how to not give your information to them.
So, and then the third article that was just kind of tangentially involved, we'll talk about on a later time in more depth, is as organizations are collecting more biometric data about you for authentication purposes, is that really secure and what happens when they actually lose it? So, on that, where we originally started to go with this was...
Before I cut you off?
Yes. Okay, that's like every video.
Okay, yes.
So, and real life now that I think about it. Where we originally started talking about is, the ultimate question is, why is Facebook wanting to do the cryptocurrency world with Libre as a part of this service, and does it make sense for them to do that, which it does, and is there an ulterior motive, or are they just simply trying to build up an international digital currency?
Or they're trying to be the next Bitcoin.
Right. And my general belief on that is that while that may be true, they want to do the Bitcoin thing, my personal belief, and what's tied into this article, is that by tying all your purchases with a digital currency, they now can better link information about you, and it makes any data that they've got about you more valuable.
Sure.
So it increases their ability to sell your data at a higher rate, because I can actually tell what you're buying.
Yes.
So it's a movie about, I know what you did last summer. In this case, I know what you bought last night.
Or if you're using the Facebook selling site, so you're selling stuff on Facebook.
Yeah, who are your customers?
Well, not only to your customers, but who are the random strangers that you're selling your stuff to as well.
Right, so as more of, in particular, if a currency becomes a connector, if your hash, now let's remember that Facebook isn't per se tracking your individual name. They're not tracking David.
So they will, in a way they are, but
yes, but
in a way they are. The way that they do that, I mean, it's in the terms of service and the privacy statement. Talks about it in both. That your person, so David, me,
right,
is not my. So say I go to I go eat out at a place. I don't want to get in trouble with names. So I go eat out at a place. I don't want to tell you guys either. Keep that information safe.
And given what he eats, don't go there.
Yeah. So if I go to a certain place and I tag it, say I'm
Yes.
at this location,
Right.
with my name on my post, it shows my name and where I'm at.
Right. Absolutely.
But on Facebook's side, when that information is being given to that company where I'm at, or to that type of service, that type of food, instead of my name, it's just a number. The numbers do change.
Okay. So, but there has to be a way to.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
The numbers that change, but the numbers. What was changing on it? Now I got to read it for the 5th time.
Okay, so let's go back. What functionally happens here, and this is probably why David likes to read, because he doesn't actually retain anything. So what it is that they convert your identity into what we call a hash. So it's essentially a random collection. It's not random. It's a calculated collection of number that represents you as an individual. So it's not Al, A-L, or Harry Albert that is retained. It's a selection of 16 or 32 or whatever
size number
is in that hash.
So that way, when XYZ company wants data about a certain thing, that hash is associated with the information that's being given to that company versus your name.
Right. So they're not being able to say. So their get out of jail free card, if you would, is they've not actually supplied your identity. They've supplied a number that they've tagged to your identity. But, and here's where this comes into question, and has been the case for 15 years or so, started coming up, was if you have enough data about a hash, a given single identifier, if I can see enough data about that identifier, can I then, and in fact you can, identify who that is, where that is, and for all intents and purposes get to the name, because to be honest, your name or identity is the easiest thing to get to.
Yes.
So it is, the more data that I can find, now I can start linking that together.
And we kind of talked about this in the video about Bitcoin and the hashing.
Right.
That Bitcoin is synonymous about being, it's anonymous. Well, it's anonymous to a point.
Yeah. Well,
because again, with enough data, if you use your Bitcoin or whatever cryptocurrency you have enough times, you're able to be tracked.
so let's use this as an example.
So first of all, do I disagree with you?
Yes, let's ask the question. That's where we were going to go.
Yes.
So far, we've been in rampant agreement.
Right. So I think the article stretches a little bit on this.
Okay.
Yes, they will have your information tied to your name, to all your purchases, to all your data. Are they using it for marketing purposes? No.
Well,
that's not why they. I actually don't think that's why they're doing it.
okay, and let's be clear, just so everybody knows. We're doing this at the end of August in 2019. The product isn't out yet.
Yeah.
So
this is all speculation. And again, anything we do say is our opinion alone, not of our current employers or maybe, depending on when you watch us, our previous employers.
And if I'm not good, it will be my previous employer.
Yeah. No, because the channel will be your current employer.
Oh, good point. Yes.
If we have enough subscribers to actually make money with this.
Yeah.
Right now, this is just really fun. And yeah. But anyways, enough about how we do not make money on YouTube.
Help me.
I think what they're trying to kind of accomplish with this, and what I kind of agree with, is having a digital currency that is that is, what's the word I'm looking for?
Stable.
Stable.
So
A stable digital currency that is free from tariffs, but free from taxes and exchange rates going across the world.
yeah, because it's one currency.
One currency.
So, I mean, in the background of this, and we did cover it when Facebook first announced this,
Yep.
was one of the things that they're trying to get to. There's a lot of countries in the world in which the currency evaluation is all over the board. And so this would provide a way to help provide better international commerce for those areas, because a stable currency is important for that.
Especially when these days, when haven't you buy something online?
Right. So, but I mean, it's even a case where they'd be able to use this in, I mean, not necessarily physical cash exchange, obviously.
No.
But, I mean, that online exchange could be very localized.
Oh yeah, yes.
I mean, there's no reason to say it has to go through a big server someplace.
Yeah.
I mean, so there could be ways of doing that through very localized services. But again, we're speculating. I have no clue how they've designed this. But
And their white paper doesn't give enough information yet.
right, and nor should it. But, you know, again, reasoning with incomplete information is what we do well.
Oh, yes.
So,
So that's why I disagree.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the sole purpose like the article makes out to be. They're stretching, they're connecting dotted lines that are on two different pieces of paper.
I don't know.
Because again, do they know what Facebook's doing? If we don't know, they're not going to know.
Okay, but let's talk about what we do know about Facebook.
Okay.
Facebook's entire business model,
Yep.
from when they went public, has been to sell data.
Yes.
Because that's the only thing that they've got to sell. Before they did that, they didn't make any money
And why are they selling our data?
because it's a free service. Because people will buy it, to be honest. They're selling the
One-
data because people will buy it.
People buy data, yes. And they happen to have a large amount of data because we give it to them for free.
Or they can, and here's the interesting piece, we give them a lot of data, and then they get other data
Yep.
to tie it
Because
together.
they purchase data.
Right, so this is where data aggregation services come into play, and that's where all of this really comes down to. So now if I have that data, so I buy a passport.
Yep.
Okay, so that data is on I purchased that passport with, say, Libra. So we
Okay.
can say that there was a passport purchased on this date by an individual.
Yes.
So is there information that might be available to say, hey, by the way, this passport number was created on this day? And I can start linking these together. And that's really where this starts to come into play is,
Sure.
or more importantly, a better example, especially for people who travel, is, or for that matter, don't travel, it goes from, if you ever leave your home and buy something,
Yeah.
can I tie a bunch of purchases to a hash and then draw a conclusion as to who that person is based upon a phone number?
Yeah.
Because that's now
that
tied
cell phone
to,
is tied to a hash.
right, that cell phone is tied to, well, is the cell phone tied to a hash, or is how it's tied to a number? So in this day and age, in fact, there was an article recently that talked about the fact that in 5 or 10 years, we may just assume that the phone is next to everybody. May even be embedded for all we know.
Yeah. I mean, Inspector Gadget. Go
Yeah.
get your phone.
There's a scary thing. Have you seen Inspector Gadget?
Right.
So at any rate, that clearly could be a case. So now it's not a case of going where everybody knows your name. Everybody automatically, every place knows your number.
Hey, the world of cheer.
The world of cheers. Yes. Okay.
Why am I'm not even old enough to know that.
I was going to say that was way before your time. So, the value of reruns.
Yeah.
But this does come into play that if you have an identifier, whatever that identifier is, I'm going to be able to tie that to things.
Yeah.
And by tying it to things, I can eventually link it to, it's the classical, 7 6 degrees from Kevin Bacon thing.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yep.
if I can link this enough, I'm going to be finding it out. If nothing else, let's say that the device does only provide a hash for your phone.
Sure.
But if I know that every night, or at least a night, you're spending 4 to 6 hours, because you don't sleep much,
So 1 to 4 hours.
at a given location overnight, unless it's a hot date, will get you in huge trouble.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's going to be your home.
Yeah. Yes.
So now, because of public records, I can now tie that back.
True.
So, are you anonymous at all?
No, I mean, and that's even without Facebook account.
Right.
I mean, your data is out there, whether you like it or not. It's out there.
I have a friend of mine that makes the point that he just mails his data directly to China to save the middleman.
I think when I was like 21, 20, yeah, when I was a little bit younger, not too long ago. Thanks.
Yeah, we won't talk about his ability with math, obviously.
So I used for a full year, I sent Google an email.
Okay.
Every day. The email said, you will read this email twice. 1, because I sent it to you, and 2, because you read through my emails anyways.
Nice.
I did never get a response back though.
No, who knew?
So yes.
Taking snark to a whole new level.
Yeah, right? Oh man. So, so your data's out there, no matter whether they like it or not. And is that okay?
Okay, well.
Is it, because we're going to slowly get into getting off the grid, our second article.
So the reality is, it's almost, if you're going to use an electronic device, if you're going to use even a credit card, some of that information is going to be available, unless you start mixing the stuff up. Now you can, thinking about it, and I'm just, this is really spitballing it. Could I create anonymization by creating enough variables by having multiple identities?
Only if the government would allow it. But then again, they have all the ties.
Yes, and they have all the ties.
But they're never hacked.
Yeah, the data government's always secure.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, so why am I getting that data note from the VA administration about my data getting breached? Yes.
Right. But no, you're not. You literally would have to live in the backwoods for your information to not go anywhere. I can currently, right now, for free, go search an address and see who owns that property.
Absolutely.
That's one piece of data.
Which, by the way, is the linkage to all of you, because now I know if I can tie, because your address is by definition not considered secure.
Nope. Again, that's privacy statements. But anyways, with that data, so I now have your name,
Yes.
your possible spouse or significant other.
I have.
If you purchased with someone else.
Right.
And I have the address.
Correct.
I now have your driver's license information. I can go get up pretty quick.
Okay.
Because on your driver's license, what data do I need?
Okay, but can you actually then?
I can create a driver's license.
Well, yeah, you can create a driver's license. Absolutely.
For you, and then it gets sent to there. It was my picture.
Yeah, with your picture. Yes. Well, and that has been known to happen because
it has. And that's how. I mean, so getting off the grid, it's just not going to happen. I'm sorry to say. I mean, you can do all that you can. You can't even rent and stay off the grid unless the person you're renting from is willing to one, take cash, and then not declare it, because
yes,
they would have to not declare it.
Yeah, we'll start running ways that. Yeah, let's not go into the conversation of how to do that.
If you want a how to get off the grid let us know if you want us to do it, and hopefully not get kicked off YouTube, or just search on YouTube.
There's a couple, 3 really good articles on this that we probably could walk through.
Yeah.
That won't get us in trouble. And to be honest, actually, believe it or not, this goes back to the Roger Zelensky. You're not going to know.
I was going to say, I was born in '85, so.
Okay, he didn't die until many years later, but he wrote a really good science fiction book called I Am Legion.
Okay.
And
I Am Legend? Great movie. Sorry, we're tired.
So
I Am Legion?
Yes, I'm doing this from memory because this is truly a squirrel trail.
Okay.
But in that book, the author it's almost a playback of the television show that's going on about a person of interest.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So in the book, the guy helped develop the system and then realized that once all of the currencies were linked and everything that you were going to do, there was going to be no such thing as privacy.
Yeah.
And that everybody's going to know anything. So what he then did was learn adequate skill sets and items that would then let him operate off of the grid because because there's always a black market. Let's be honest.
Yeah, particular set of skills.
Yes, he has a particular set of skills. Movie taken.
You're doing a lot of movie references today.
And we don't watch as much movies as people think. So, but anyway, in the book, and he does, and actually he does develop those special skills because that is what he becomes as a spy.
Yep.
God, Lord have mercy, why do I remember that? But it is one of those things as we come in there. If you're going to want to stay off of the grid, how is that going to work? What are you actually going to have to do that? And
how big of an inconvenience?
Yeah, as I'm about to say, how much value is that to you? So that's an interesting question to go into, is how much value is that privacy worth to you?
Yeah. A topic that you and me have talked about.
Yes.
About a project that I will maybe never get around to. Yeah, how much is information? And is your information worth what you think it's worth, even?
Actually, you'd be amazed at how little, especially when you get to be my age or your age, that information is worth. Now, if it's the age of your child, it has a lot more value.
Yes.
Because and that's for misuse. So we have to think about what is the value of data. Because data has value in many different ways.
It's a cryptocurrency.
Yeah. So
the first cryptocurrency wasn't Bitcoin.
Yes.
It was data.
That's actually very true. So data about you as an individual to say how much is it worth for me to try to sell you stuff? That's one portion of data.
Yep. I mean. Yep. Okay.
So because that's how much am I willing to buy data about you to sell to you?
Okay.
People like you and me, maybe not much. People that have lots of things or have lots of disposable income, maybe a bunch. On the other hand, we all spend money, and all of that has value. So then the other side of the coin is how much is that data worth to somebody who is going to misuse that data to either purchase things illegally, fraudulently, or do something that they don't want to have their name associated to, and they don't really care if you get in trouble.
Yeah.
So that data has a lot of uses. Let me rephrase that. Yeah, data has a lot of uses, but it depends on how you want to use the information.
Sure.
Because data and information actually are two different things.
Yep.
So.
And what are you doing with the data? Are you using it to? We just said something, Jeff. Are you?
I'm gonna go fix that real quick.
No, it's fine. Or time out.
Thank you. Don't kick the cords, yes. Put a big sign up, don't kick the cords.
You and cords.
Yeah, me and cords.
And then the channel.
Hey, your daughter is related to your brother.
Right? Okay, up time.
So, we were going with this before.
Time on.
Lord help me. We did a brief step through the outer world.
Right.
So data has a variety of uses.
Okay.
So how much inconvenience are you willing to pay to not get somebody bothering you?
Yeah, is it always someone bothering you?
Well, because the marketers would say that this is actually they're providing you a service.
Not even that. Is the data that you give to someone
Yes.
only being sold to be marketed toward you? For that scam email, for that advertisement that you see when you watch a video on YouTube or on a channel.
No, that's okay. So that's a good point.
It's also stats.
Yeah.
They're buying data to see how many people in this area are purchasing gas in this area.
Right.
How many is this grocery store? When that grocery store gets their data sold, how much are they selling, or how many products are being sold of a certain type?
But the other thing to remember about that is that as they are tying that data together, in particular they're using Facebook, because how many of you have answered one of those stupid surveys on Facebook? Why do you do that? Because
I want to know what kind of actor I look like.
Okay. No, you don't. The reality is that
That skeleton is one of them.
yeah, I'm about to say actually. It's soon to be the bald-headed actor.
Don't even.
Don't.
I found out that there's a picture of me, my head down, and I'm not going to do it on here. Apparently, I'm balding.
You have your mother's hair. So, anyway, before I get completely in trouble here, multiple generations. The fact that you answer surveys
Yep.
and respond to posts and all of those things. So not just what you buy, but what you do says a lot about you. And yes, in point of fact, a lot of that information is about not you as David, but you as a mid-decade of your choice male that lives in where you live.
Yep.
And has those attributes.
Yeah.
The more of those attributes that they have, which includes what you buy.
Sure.
So do you buy soft drinks? Do you buy whatever? Those are the things that, so you start tying all that data together, and now I can start to draw some conclusions about you. Now, the interesting piece about that is sometimes the conclusions aren't so right.
Yep, and you and me are probably going to go on the same topic when a daughter is doing research on dad's computer.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the dad goes to use the computer.
Right.
And all of a sudden he gets a lot of information, a lot of ads about birth control.
Right, because the daughter was understanding. Actually, the great story of that was the gal that was looking up stuff found out that she was pregnant and started getting stuff in the mail for an expecting mother.
Yes.
So actually, that was a huge violation of privacy at the time that they really couldn't. I've forgotten if they could actually. I've got to go back and research that.
Yeah,
that one. Okay, we'll go back and look at that one because that one's kind of fun.
Yes.
Not for the family. It was no fun for the family. No fun for the family. But as a interesting exercise of data, yeah, it's kind of interesting. Rolling all the way back to where we're going with that, though, I was actually thinking of the situation where I actually pulled data on me that says, who do you think I am? Because
Okay.
you can get that off of services.
Where can I get that kind of service?
Oh.
Not to promote
Okay.
a certain company.
We'll have to get back to you on that because that's lost in the backs of my mind.
Okay,
But that we did do that. So in there,
It might be a link below. Check out if we find it or not.
Yeah, so we'll work on that. Actually, it'd be kind of fun to actually do that sometime.
Another video that we might get out there.
We might or maybe not do. We're actually going to start maintaining a list of the. Actually, you could help us.
Yes.
Tell us about all the videos we said we'd do that we've never done.
Right.
You'll sound like my boss. What did you say you'd do?
Just so, like any boss.
Yeah, good point.
Because again, you guys are our boss.
And for this one, we worked for you.
Yes.
So we're probably getting paid what we're worth too. Aaron, so I pulled that data about myself.
Okay.
Hopefully
Yep.
David will delete the last 2 minutes of that.
This is almost a straight shot.
So as I looked at that, it determined that I belonged to the wrong political party. It did have the city and state right, which was
Okay.
nice to know, but my religion was wrong, and what else was wrong? A lot of my interests were wrong. Now, part of that is, if you know me, you know I'm interested in just about anything. So trying to figure out what I want to buy based upon my searching on the web,
Right? Yeah.
good luck with that.
And I get, yeah, I mean, is the way we search nowadays, most people search everything.
Right, but I'm not going to, most people are probably not as random as you and I are.
Okay? Maybe not.
Let's hope so, because the world might be safe. So, because at the end of the day, most people actually use their product, use their electronic devices to do things that they're interested in.
Okay, yeah.
You and I have a breadth of interest that boggles most people's minds.
Yes.
You know, we make
Random facts that I just happen to know.
right, and you know, I'll go simply to the point that you're going to start going to websites just to start reading terms of service, whether you have any desire to use that service or not.
True. And if you, once that channel is up, go make sure you like and subscribe to that channel. But if you have a website that you would like, or an app that you would like me to read the terms of service to, it'd be great to get that kind of information to figure out where I'm starting.
So, and again, that's what we talked about for way too long in last night's video, was how do we actually, is the fact that he's going to go read the terms of service and privacy agreements out loud, and hopefully have a commentator in there where we can actually talk about some of these things.
Yes.
Or he'll just comment on his own, and good luck.
Well, yeah, that's that. Yeah. Well, again, go to that channel. There should be a video out there, not yet, but eventually, here in the next couple weeks. And I'll have a video describing what I'll be doing with the channel.
And at the top of it, it's going to have a banner that says, "I am not an attorney."
True. On every video.
Yeah, so, yeah, because we're not.
I just play one on YouTube.
Well, okay. Play might be the accurate word. Playing around. So, okay, well, so let's try to bring this back.
Uses one word. Both ways.
That's why English is such a wonderful language.
Again, another topic we talk about way too often.
So,
anyways.
yeah, before you watched my eyes go.
I was like, oh, where are we? Okay. So.
You ever seen the movie Tootsie?
So, what we talked about, so getting off the grid. I mean, that's something we did not, we kind of talked about in the last video. And maybe to help wrap us up, because we've been talking about this way too long. It's great. I mean, this is our car ride.
This is actually, every day we start the day with a ride on this conversation. It takes about 45 minutes for me to get to the office. We talk about this kind of stuff. It's about an hour and a half for me to go home.
Yep.
And so unless he's got to stop someplace, because he does drive a truck,
Yep.
We kind of do this stuff for
fun.
Something.
Yeah. I either help him, I either get your day started off right, or you hang up and you're completely upset because have a random question about some random fact.
Yeah, because okay. Well, the poor people that have that 8 o'clock meeting with me,
Right.
I'll have to ask them.
I'm sorry.
So,
kind of wrap this up a little bit, as best as we can. So the first article was about?
First article that we had was about Facebook, and are they actually, the purpose is they shouldn't be allowed to have the cryptocurrencies. That's just going to let them have way too much. And the subtitle of the article was, "It's all about the hash." And that's the reason we talked about hashing.
Yep. And so, what's your thoughts? What are your thoughts about, is Facebook's currency a good thing or a bad thing? Where do you see their currency going?
And or should we just completely bomb every data aggregator source?
Yeah.
So, Second article is about getting off of the grid, and specifically was an article about the growing number of individuals that are stopping using various Google products.
Okay.
And one of the things that we don't really talk about with this is the difference between the Google App Store and the Apple App Store. The Apple App Store, they actually do generally curate those applications. Not gonna say there aren't bad apps that get out there.
So does Google.
Not as much.
Not as well.
Yeah.
But they do, to create an app on the Play Store, the Google Play Store, it does have to get sent to them first.
Right.
This is why when apps get updated so often, it takes, we're updating it, a month later it ends up happening because they send it to Google. Google goes through it, or Apple goes through it, and then gets sent out.
Okay, now we're going to have a whole other conversation on that because
okay.
We'll save that for that.
That's a good video.
That'll be a different video because what they say and what they do, based upon the data that's coming out, are two very different things.
Stay tuned for that one.
Because that one will be a knockdown drag out, I can tell.
Okay.
So,
coming from a person that went to school to develop apps.
Coming from the guy that actually is heavily involved with security around the apps.
And someone who comes from reading the terms of service about those apps. And privacy statements. And points out things.
And actually believes what he reads.
Oh, it's in the privacy statement.
So it must be true. Lord have mercy. It's on the internet. It must be right. Okay, I have failed as a parent.
So third article.
The third article we had was, and we talked very briefly about this one, was now as we're beginning to collect biometric data about you, fingerprints, iris data, facial pictures, and how that's being stored, and a situation in which somebody that was actually collecting that data for various identity sources, that
company didn't hold on to it.
That company was not, that data was not secure, nor was it encrypted or hashed in any form. So the actual photo of the face or of the fingerprint was available to be breached. Not gonna say it was breached. Was available to be breached.
Along with that company's username and passwords in the clear.
Right.
And being able to add a user, because administration.
Yeah, because you could get the administrator right. So I could actually change the name of the person associated with that fingerprint. And
it has been, at least from how the person got in, that has been patched.
Right. So at least that data store was patched.
That area, that hole.
Yeah, so that's okay. So again, and I am known as the company cynic. So and potentially
and they have met me.
Yeah, yeah, good point. David's the cynic for the state. So official state cynic. There's a title. So, but anyway,
that's a t-shirt waiting to happen.
Yeah. So as we
said it first.
Yes, we will get a t-shirt made for you if you.
We have talked about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you guys want shirts, let us know down below.
Yeah, we'll do cynics are us. So.
Oh, man.
I have no clue where I was going. Okay, so at any rate.
That's why squirrels are so angry.
You ever watched them on the road?
Right.
So, This is a bad stand-up comedy routine.
So, real quick, how to end this?
So we're going to try to wrap this up. We're going to do a separate discussion on biometric data and what that means.
Yep.
And protection of that, because that's becoming a hot topic. Everybody wants to do that. There is a huge push to get rid of passwords to use biometric data. I'm simply going to say, what happens when I get a request to change my fingerprint?
Well, yeah, I mean, they're also putting the chips in our arms at some companies.
Well, the chips in our arm, I can get replaced.
Okay, yes.
Now, whether or not I want somebody to put a chip in my arm, yeah, that's a whole, again, another conversation that we could have, at which point in time this becomes conspiracies are us.
Yes, which we are not, you do.
Right, yeah, don't go there, don't go there. We do try to make sure our stuff has at least somewhat tangentially tied to fact.
Yes.
And we do actually study these topics, things that we know about, and try to provide content. We may go sideways on some of this stuff, and I'm absolutely sure, because it's happened, people have commented where we've gone sideways, and we actually do value that data.
Yep.
Because both David and I are people who like to learn. And so learning is a two-way process. So if you can help us learn, we'll provide that data as well.
And we also like to have fun with it.
Yeah, by definition.
So with that, thanks for spending, I don't even know how long, maybe an hour.
For those of you that have stayed on, you need help.
So with that, thank you for liking our channel. Don't forget to tell your friends. Again, we are trying to grow this channel. It's almost been 6 months since we started the channel. So
We're playing with a lot of different formats, as you'll see. So
let us know what you like.
Ooh, a two-part harmony. Unplanned.
Oh, man, we hate way too much.
All right, I think we need to be done here.
So with that,
Happy trails.
don't forget to like and subscribe.
Stay squirrely.